I'm speaking with Craig Copeland, the mayor of Cold Lake this morning. Thanks for joining me, Craig.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. I'm just wondering how, coming off of the big conference with the leaders of municipalities around Alberta, how are you feeling about how things went there and what was discussed?
Yeah, it was a great session. It happens a couple of times a year. Certainly, having the ministers there was really good. I mean, kudos to the government officials that stayed. We probably had about 16 or so ministers, and then the premier speaking. But it was a good session. Big concern about the drought. That seemed to be probably, if I was to sort of say the biggest summary of the 2 days, was a big concern by both municipal leaders and the provincial bureaucrats and the elected ministers. The drought seems to be on everybody's mind.
Yeah, there was some alarming news earlier this spring about Pincher Creek running dry, and so that is quite concerning. I mean, it's going to affect a lot of communities downstream from there or upstream. I'm not sure how that works, but
Yeah.
yeah, it is a big concern. Was there any thoughts on how to address it?
Well, the Minister of Environment and Protected Areas has asked all municipalities to have a hard look at their water use and any plans that they may have in case of a drought. Certainly, Southern Alberta, big concern. They had a ADM spoke, did a great job on a presentation about showing where the water levels are and some strategies where they're looking at water restrictions. The province also has a task force uh, made up of mayors and other people talking about restricting water use in communities. Up in our area, we're using a big lake basin where a lot of the other municipalities are either using creeks, rivers, or well water. So we're not in a an alarming state up here in Cold Lake, but it's still got to start thinking about it. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. There were some items also outlined by the association itself. A news release coming out over the weekend. There seems to be some concern about a bill that was introduced at the legislature around policing. Can you tell me about that?
Well, just people wondering, is this going to lead to the provincial police force? But um, I think that it's sort of one of these bills is okay. They're going to introduce it into the House and see where it goes to. But people are kind of wondering where we're going to go with it. We thought the province was backing off on the provincial policing, but we'll see. I mean, in the end of the day, if it's going to mean the province is going to bring in officers to areas that are under pressure, like Coal Lake, we'll gladly take in more positions. We have a contract with the RCMP, so we don't know if this will dovetail into that. But some municipalities have their own police force, and so we've seen sheriffs brought in to help Edmonton and Calgary deal with their social issues. And we're very interested in knowing where this is going to go because if it means that we can get more officers and it's not a burden to our taxpayers in Coal Lake, we're going to be there to listen. That's for sure.
What about the infrastructure piece? There was a lot of concern from various municipalities about infrastructure needing replacement and the cost associated with it. And the
Yeah.
government seems to have made some commitment or says they have committed to that in the 2024 budget.
Yeah, so what it is, it's all about. So the province gives all the municipalities some funding, and so what we've seen over the years is that funding has been, reduced by quite a bit, and so, we're lobbying the province to come back to the table and bring the funding where it once was before all the reductions, and so the province is bringing it up 11%, I think it is next year in 25. But as everybody knows, construction costs right now are crazy, and so there is big concern on water treatment facilities, hockey arenas, you name it, roads, and that your dollar now is not going very far. And so just our job is to lobby the province and say, hey, what about us? And so because in the end of the day, if the province or the federal government doesn't come in and help municipalities, then we have to turn to the ratepayer, the business community, and the residential to collect our much needed money to run these municipalities.
I guess the third thing that was identified as kind of a hot topic there was with regard to party politics coming to
Yeah.
provincial elections. I thought that was really interesting. It seems a little odd to me. I don't think that's ever been the case as far as I can remember. And I guess, do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing for people to know how you vote as the
Well,
mayor?
it looks like the government is pursuing this to have an as an option, so you could run under the blue party and and make it as a candidate. Oh yeah, I'm also affiliated or representative of the blue party. All the power to people. I mean, in the end, don't sell the residents short. They will look at all the candidates and they'll make those decisions. I think party politics is in there. I think some people look at the candidates when they're up there and maybe make an opinion, but I don't think it's being identified as a party person is required in municipal government. But it looks like that option is gonna be there. I mean, I was involved in quite a few different campaigns where here in Cold Lake, where we're standing up for Cold Lake, and so people knew that there was a bunch of us that were under that platform, right? We all kind of had the same belief. So Minister McIver is right. It does happen in municipal politics, but do we need to identify with the certain provincial and federal policies or parties, sorry, that are running in the municipal election? I don't know, but it looks like it's going to come to the next election and let the residents figure it out.
Yeah, it's a tricky area for sure. They might support you locally as a candidate, think you're doing a great job, but not like the politics that you're on side with. So
Yeah, you're voting for people that you consider to move your community forward. That's how I always look at it. And so you look at all the candidates, read up on them, and see which ones you want to go with for the next 4 years. And I mean, with today's technology, you can easily research and actually interview the candidates you want to vote for. So usually each community does a forum, so you can go there and sort of look at the people that are running and sort of get a feel for, okay, I'm going to put my vote on that person, right? So I think we do a great job for municipal elections. I just wish more people would come out and vote. I would hope the government would focus on that um, more so than the party stuff. But our turnout for elections is pretty low, right?
yeah, I think unless there's something they're really upset with, they tend to stay home.
Yeah, because I think we only average up here, maybe quarter of the population voting. Um, it's just that people are taking their vote for granted, and maybe the next election in Cold Lake there'll be a lot more people coming out. We'll see. But yeah, the province seems to be focused on this party politics. The association that we belong to, of course, has said no. Our council really, we haven't really brought it to the table to make an opinion. Sometimes you're best just let the province go that way and see where it goes. I really don't think it's going to be a factor in the city of Cold Lake election.
All right, Mayor Copeland, we'll leave it there. I thank you for your time today.
All right, thank you for having me.